The Terran Republic's Legacy, the Luau and Ancient Truths Part 3. The deep space exploration vessel, Horizon, drifted silently through the Carina Nebula, its quantum sensors probing the cosmic depths for signs of intelligent life. Admiral James Hawthorne stood at the observation deck, his weathered face reflected in the reinforced plasma glass as he watched the swirling colors of the nebula dance before him. "Admiral, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Rita Santos called from her station, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. It's structured. Definitely not natural." Hawthorne moved swiftly to her station, his eyes narrowing as he studied the readings. After 15 years of deep space exploration, this was the first sign of potential alien technology they'd encountered. "Show me." The main display lit up with a three-dimensional representation of what appeared to be a massive structure, partially hidden within an asteroid field. Its architecture was unlike anything human minds had conceived. Organic curves blended seamlessly with geometric precision, creating a harmony that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Sir," Commander David Walsh interjected from Tactical, "we're detecting energy signatures. They're active. Whatever this is, it's not abandoned." Hawthorne felt his pulse quicken but maintained his composed exterior. "Yellow alert. Shields at minimum power. We don't want to appear hostile. Begin first contact protocols." As the crew rushed to their stations, a sudden burst of light erupted from the alien structure. The Horizon sensors registered a massive energy spike, but instead of weapons fire, they detected a complex series of quantum frequencies, a communication attempt. "Sir, they're speaking to us," Communications Officer Priya Patil announced, her voice filled with wonder. "The Universal Translator is processing it now." The bridge crew waited in tense silence as the AI worked to decode the alien transmission. Finally, a melodic voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfectly translated English. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Neveri, and we have been waiting for you." The words sent chills down Hawthorne's spine. The translator worked both ways, allowing him to respond. "This is Admiral James Hawthorne of the Earth Alliance vessel Horizon. We come in peace." "As do we, Admiral," the voice replied. A holographic image materialized on the bridge. A tall, elegant being with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. "I am Ambassador Zilara. We have watched your species' progress for some time, waiting for you to reach this point in your evolution." Hawthorne straightened his uniform, acutely aware that this moment would be recorded in human history. "You've been watching us." "Yes," Zilara answered. "We are guardians of sorts, seeking species with the potential to join the greater galactic community. But we are also harbingers of a warning." The ambassador's expression grew grave. "Your discovery of this outpost is timely. There are forces in our galaxy that would see emerging civilizations like yours destroyed or enslaved. The hegemony empire grows stronger each cycle, consuming worlds and cultures in their wake." Lieutenant Santos' console beeped urgently. "Admiral, long-range sensors are detecting multiple quantum jumps. Large vessels, unlike anything we've seen before." Zilara's hologram flickered. "They have found us sooner than expected. Admiral Hawthorne, you must make a choice. Your species stands at a crossroads. Will you flee back to Earth, hoping to remain hidden? Or will you stand with us, helping forge an alliance that could change the fate of our galaxy?" Hawthorne looked around at his crew, seeing the mixture of fear and determination in their eyes. Humanity had dreamed of this moment. First contact with an advanced alien civilization, but they never imagined it would come with such high stakes. "Ambassador," Hawthorne replied, his voice firm, "humanity didn't come this far to turn back now. Whatever threats we face, we'll face them together." A smile crossed Zilara's ethereal features. "Then let us begin. Your people have much to learn, and little time to learn it. But we have seen your potential, your resilience, your creativity, your indomitable spirit. These qualities may well be the key to our mutual survival." As the unknown vessels drew closer, Hawthorne gave the order to dock with the Neveri station. He knew that in this moment he wasn't just making a decision for his crew, but for all of humanity. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The real question was, were they ready for what came next? The Horizon's crew worked quickly to secure docking procedures, while Zilara's hologram provided coordinates and guidance. As they prepared to board the alien structure, Hawthorne couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of a much larger story, one that would reshape the destiny of both their species. The fate of Earth and perhaps the galaxy itself now rested on the success of this unprecedented alliance. As Hawthorne prepared to step through the airlock onto the Navari station, he silently hoped that humanity's greatest strengths would prove enough for the challenges that lay ahead. The Navari station hummed with activity as human and alien engineers worked side by side, racing against time. 2 months had passed since first contact, and the looming shadow of the hegemony grew darker with each passing day. Commander David Walsh watched in amazement as Navari technicians integrated their quantum-based technology with the Horizon systems. Their iridescent hands moved with practiced precision, weaving streams of light that somehow transformed into solid matter. Remarkable, isn't it? Dr. Nadia Volkov, the Horizon's chief scientist, stood beside him. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement, despite the exhaustion evident on her face. Their understanding of quantum mechanics makes our most advanced theories look like child's play. Before Walsh could respond, the station's warning systems blared to life. Red emergency lights pulsed through the corridors, as Ambassador Zalora's voice echoed through the communication systems. Multiple hegemony vessels detected entering the sector. All personnel to battle stations. Walsh sprinted to the command center, where Admiral Hawthorne and Zalora were already studying a tactical hologram. The three-dimensional display showed a dozen massive warships emerging from quantum space. "They're earlier than we anticipated," Zalora said, her crystalline features tight with concern. "The upgrades to your vessel are not yet complete." Hawthorne's jaw clenched. "How many Earth ships are in range?" "The Athena and Hyperion responded to our call," Walsh reported. "They'll arrive within the hour." "But sir, even with Navari upgrades, 3 ships against 12. Will have to be enough," Hawthorne finished. He turned to Zalora. "What can you tell us about their capabilities?" The ambassador waved her hand, enhancing the tactical display. "Hegemony vessels utilize dark matter weaponry. Their shields are formidable, but they have one weakness: they cannot maintain full coverage while firing their main weapons." Dr. Volkov, who had joined them in the command center, stepped forward. "The quantum frequency modulators we've been installing. Could we use them to detect these moments of vulnerability?" Zalora's eyes widened. Yes, that could work. But it would require precise timing and coordination between all vessels. "Then that's our strategy," Hawthorne declared. "Commander Walsh, get back to the Horizon. Begin integrating the targeting data from the Navari systems. Dr. Volkov, I need you to finish those modulators. We'll have to complete the installations under fire if necessary." As the crew scattered to their assignments, a transmission cut through their communications. The holographic display shifted to show a towering figure clad in obsidian armor. A hegemony commander. Primitive species, the figure's voice boomed, translated but still carrying an otherworldly resonance. "You harbor technology and knowledge that belongs to the hegemony. Surrender the Navari station, and your vessels will be permitted to return to your homeworld." Hawthorne stepped forward, his voice steady. "This is Admiral James Hawthorne of the Earth Alliance. We do not respond to threats, and we do not abandon our allies." The hegemony commander's laughter echoed through the command center. Brave words from a species that has barely left its cradle. "Very well. Let your destruction serve as a lesson to others who would defy the hegemony." The transmission cut off, and immediately the enemy vessels began moving into attack formation. "They're launching fighters," Walsh reported from the Horizon. "Hundreds of them." Hawthorne turned to Zalora. "Can your station's defenses hold them off until our reinforcements arrive?" "Yes, but we'll need to be creative." She gestured to a group of Navari technicians, who immediately began reconfiguring the station's shield geometry. "We've learned that humanity's greatest strength is its ability to innovate under pressure. Show us what your people can do, Admiral." As if in response to her words, Dr. Volkov's voice came over the comm. "Admiral, I have an idea. The quantum modulators, we can reverse their polarity. Instead of just detecting the enemy's shield vulnerabilities, we might be able to create them." "Explain," Hawthorne demanded. "The hegemony's dark matter weapons operate on specific quantum frequencies. If we can match and amplify those frequencies at precisely the right moment, we could force their shields to fail." Zalora finished, her eyes shining with newfound hope. "It's never been attempted, but the theory is sound." Hawthorne nodded. Do it. Commander Walsh, coordinate with the Athena and Hyperion. I want all weapons configured to Dr. Volkov's specifications the moment they arrive. The first volley from the Hegemony fleet illuminated space with pulses of dark energy. The station's shields flared but held as humanity prepared to make its stand against an enemy that had dominated the galaxy for centuries. In that moment, as human ingenuity merged with Nevari wisdom, a new chapter in galactic history was about to be written. The question wasn't just whether they would survive this battle, but whether this unlikely alliance could change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Dark matter bursts illuminated the void as the horizon weaved through the chaos of battle. Commander Walsh's hands flew across the tactical controls, coordinating with the newly arrived Earth vessels, while Dr. Volkov's modified quantum modulators hummed to life. Hyperion, adjust your attack vector to bearing 340, Walsh ordered. Athena, maintain position and prepare to engage on my mark. The space around the Nevari station had become a deadly dance of energy beams and quantum torpedoes. The Hegemony's superior numbers should have guaranteed their victory, but they hadn't counted on the seamless integration of human tactical thinking with Nevari technology. Enemy vessel approaching from Sector 7, Lieutenant Santos called out. They're charging their main weapon array. Admiral Hawthorne, who had returned to the Horizon's bridge, leaned forward in his command chair. Now we test Dr. Volkov's theory. All ships, initiate Protocol Omega. The quantum modulators aboard all 3 Earth vessels activated simultaneously, their frequencies perfectly aligned with the Hegemony's dark matter weapons. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, as the enemy ship fired, its shields flickered and failed. Direct hit, Walsh exclaimed as the Horizon's enhanced weapons struck true. The Hegemony vessel's hull cracked, dark energy spilling from its wounds before it erupted in a spectacular explosion. Ambassador Zalora's hologram appeared on the bridge. Remarkable. But be warned, the Hegemony adapts quickly. This tactic will not work for long. As if to prove her point, the remaining enemy ships began adjusting their shield frequencies. The battle was far from over. Multiple boarding craft detected, Santos reported. They're targeting the station. Hawthorne turned to his tactical officer. Launch our new surprises, Commander. Walsh grinned as he activated the deployment sequence. Dozens of small objects shot from the Horizon's launch tubes, a human addition to the Nevari defenses. As the Hegemony boarding craft approached, these devices activated, revealing themselves as autonomous defense drones equipped with both Earth and Nevari technology. The drones swarmed the enemy craft, their hybrid weapons cutting through armor that had been designed to resist either human or Nevari attacks, but not both. On the station itself, mixed teams of human marines and Nevari warriors prepared to repel any boarders who made it through. Admiral, Dr. Volkov's voice came over the comm. I'm detecting a power surge from the lead Hegemony vessel. Energy readings are off the charts. The massive enemy flagship's hull began to glow with dark energy. Whatever weapon they were charging, it was clear the station's shields wouldn't hold against it. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel, Hawthorne ordered. But the enemy's shields had fully adapted to their earlier tactic. Then Lieutenant Santos spoke up. Sir, I have an idea. The Nevari showed me how their quantum communication system works. If we route all power through it and link our ships together, we could synchronize our shield frequencies, Walsh finished. Create one massive defense grid. Do it, Hawthorne commanded. The 3 Earth vessels moved into formation around the station. Energy beams connected them as their shields merged into a single barrier, just as the Hegemony flagship fired its superweapon. The dark matter beams struck their combined shields with devastating force. Alarms blared as power systems throughout the fleet strained to their limits. On the Horizon's bridge, consoles sparked and crew members held on as the ship shuddered. But they held. Impossible. The Hegemony commander's voice boomed through their comms. Your primitive technology cannot. It's not just our technology, Hawthorne interrupted. It's our unity. Humanity and the Nevari, standing together. Commander Walsh, show them what else we've learned. The Horizon's main weapon array, now enhanced with Nevari quantum technology, powered up. The other Earth ships followed suit, their combined firepower channeled through the same network that linked their shields. The resulting blast pierced straight through the flagship's defenses, cutting the massive vessel in half. Secondary explosions chained through its hull as the proud symbol of hegemony power broke apart. The remaining enemy ships began to retreat, jumping to quantum space one by one. On the Horizon's bridge, the crew's celebration was interrupted by Ambassador Zolaris' hologram. "An impressive victory," she said, "but the hegemony will return with an even larger fleet. They cannot allow this defeat to go unanswered." Hawthorne nodded grimly. "Then we'll be ready. This battle proved what our species can accomplish together. Now we need to prepare for the real war." As damage reports came in and repairs began, the combined fleet held position around the Neveri station. This victory had cost them, but it had also shown the galaxy something new. That humanity's greatest strength wasn't just its technology or determination, but its ability to forge bonds of friendship and trust, even across the stars. The hegemony would return, but when they did, they would face not just the primitive species they had dismissed, but a unified force that had learned to combine the best of both their civilizations. The real question was, how many other species might join them once word of this victory spread? 3 months after their first victory against the hegemony, the combined Earth-Neveri fleet had grown. Ambassador Zolaris' prediction proved correct. Other species, long oppressed by the hegemony, began seeking them out. The Horizon, now serving as the Alliance flagship, had become a symbol of hope. But hope came with a price. Admiral Hawthorne stood in the Horizon's medical bay, watching Dr. Volkov treat survivors from their latest engagement. The hegemony's counterattack had been brutal, targeting civilian colonies and supply lines with ruthless efficiency. "How many?" he asked softly. "Too many," Nadia replied, her hand steady as she applied regenerative compounds to a burned crewman. "The hegemony's new weapons, they're specifically designed to cause suffering. They want to break our will." Commander Walsh entered the medical bay, his uniform showing signs of recent combat. "Sir, we've received word from Earth. The defensive grid is operational, but intel suggests it won't be enough. The hegemony is massing a fleet unlike anything we've ever seen." Hawthorne's jaw tightened. "Show me." In the tactical room, a holographic display showed hundreds of enemy vessels gathering near the edge of known space. The hegemony had apparently decided to end this rebellion once and for all. "Their numbers are overwhelming," Lieutenant Santos said, her voice tight. "Even with our combined technologies, we can't hope to match this force directly." Ambassador Zolaris' hologram appeared, her usually serene features marked with concern. "There may be another way. We've discovered something in the ancient records, a weapon of sorts, created by my ancestors before they chose the path of peace." "What kind of weapon?" Walsh asked. "One that could turn the hegemony's dark matter technology against them. But its use would require a terrible sacrifice. The quantum resonance would destroy any ship within range, including the one that triggers it." Silence fell over the tactical room. Hawthorne studied the holographic display, watching the enemy fleet grow larger by the hour. "How long do we have?" he finally asked. "At their current pace, they'll reach Earth in 72 hours, Santos reported. Dr. Volkov, who had joined them, stepped forward. "The quantum modifications we made to our ships, could we use them to enhance this weapon's effect?" "Yes," Zilura replied, "but it would require perfect synchronization. One mistake and the weapon could tear apart spacetime itself." Hawthorne turned to his crew. "Options. We could evacuate Earth," Walsh suggested, though his tone made clear what he thought of that idea. "And let them destroy our homeworld." "No," Santos shook her head. "We have to find a way to stop them here." A junior officer burst into the tactical room. "Sir, we're detecting quantum fluctuations, multiple ships dropping out of FTL, but they're not hegemony signatures." The holographic display updated to show dozens of vessels appearing around their position. Ships of various designs, representing species from across the galaxy, all victims of hegemony oppression who had heard about the Alliance's success. "They're hailing us," Santos reported, her voice filled with wonder. One by one, representatives of different species appeared in holographic form around the tactical room. Each had their own story of hegemony cruelty, and each had brought ships and warriors to join the fight. "Perhaps," Zalura said, her eyes shining, "we won't need to sacrifice everything after all." But Hawthorne wasn't convinced. "Even with these reinforcements, the enemy still outnumbers us significantly, and we can't risk letting them reach Earth." He turned to Dr. Volkov. How quickly can you adapt the quantum modulators to interface with the Navari weapon? Admiral, Walsh protested. You can't be considering. How quickly? Hawthorne repeated. Nadia met his gaze steadily. 24 hours, minimum. But sir, the calculations would have to be perfect. 1 degree off, and we could create a cascade that would destroy everything in this sector of space. Then we'll have to be perfect. Hawthorne turned to address all the assembled holograms. What we do in the next 3 days will determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of every species the hegemony has ever threatened. I'm not asking any of you to make the ultimate sacrifice. That burden will fall to us. But I am asking you to stand with us, one last time. The alien representatives looked at each other, then back to Hawthorne. One by one, they nodded their agreement. As the tactical room emptied and preparations began, Zilara's hologram remained. You understand what you're proposing. Even if we succeed, the Horizon will be remembered as the ship that helped free the galaxy. Hawthorne's voice was firm. Sometimes victory requires sacrifice. Humanity learned that lesson long ago. The Navari ambassador studied him for a long moment before speaking. Then let us hope your species' remarkable luck holds out one more time. The galaxy will need you in the peace that follows. As Hawthorne looked out at the gathering fleet, he couldn't help but wonder if there would be a peace to follow. But that was tomorrow's problem. Today, they had a weapon to modify and a plan to perfect. The final battle for freedom was about to begin. The vast expanse of space before Earth became a canvas of quantum fire as the largest fleet battle in galactic history unfolded. The Horizon led the Allied forces against the overwhelming numbers of the hegemony armada, every second bringing them closer to their final gambit. Quantum weapon integration at 98%, Dr. Volkov reported from her station, dark circles under her eyes testament to her sleepless work. Admiral, the calculations are as precise as we can make them. Admiral Hawthorne stood at the center of the bridge, watching as Allied ships executed complex maneuvers around the hegemony fleet. Everything hinged on positioning, drawing the enemy into the perfect formation while appearing to fight a desperate, losing battle. Multiple hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Lieutenant Santos called out as another volley struck the horizon. Shields failing. Commander Walsh coordinated the fleet's movements with practiced efficiency. Allied vessels report ready. They're in position. Sir. The massive hegemony flagship loomed before them, its dark matter weapons charging for what they surely thought would be the killing blow. Their commander's hologram appeared on the bridge, radiating smug confidence. Your resistance ends here, the hegemony leader declared. Surrender now, and we may yet show mercy to your homeworld. Hawthorne straightened his uniform, a calm settling over him. You know, throughout history, tyrants have made the same mistake. They mistake humanity's capacity for peace as weakness, our willingness to extend friendship as fear, our desire for cooperation as submission. He nodded to Dr. Volkov, who began the weapons activation sequence. But there's something you should understand about humans. When we fight for something greater than ourselves, when we stand with friends against those who would destroy everything we hold dear, we become something else entirely. The Horizon's systems hummed as the quantum weapon powered up, its energy signature masked by the battle damage they'd sustained. Around them, Allied ships subtly adjusted their positions, creating an invisible web of quantum frequencies. Your speeches mean nothing, the hegemony commander sneered. Your primitive alliance will be crushed, and order will be restored to the galaxy. Dr. Volkov, Hawthorne said quietly, initiate final sequence. The Horizon's modified systems began to pulse with energy. The hegemony ships, detecting the power spike, started to react. But it was too late. The quantum web was complete. Sir, Walsh reported, all Allied ships confirm ready for quantum synchronization. Hawthorne took one last look at his crew, at the humans and aliens who had fought together, bled together, and were now prepared to sacrifice everything together. It has been my honor to serve with all of you. Lieutenant Santos, send the final message to Earth. Message sent, sir. They say thank you. Ambassador Zilara's hologram appeared one last time. The resonance is building. Admiral James, your species has shown us that the galaxy's greatest strength lies not in weapons or technology, but in the bonds we forge between us. Then let's give them something worth remembering, Hawthorne replied. Dr. Volkov. Now. The quantum weapon activated, its energy amplified by the synchronized frequencies of every Allied ship. Space itself seemed to twist as dark matter reactions cascaded through the hegemony fleet. Their own technology, the source of their power for centuries, became their undoing. The horizon shuddered as the quantum resonance reached critical levels. But even as systems failed and hull plating buckled, their sensors recorded the impossible, the complete destruction of the hegemony armada, their mighty ships torn apart by the very forces they had wielded as weapons. In the chaos of the battle's final moments, something unexpected happened. A surge of quantum energy from the Allied fleet created a protective bubble around the horizon, channeling the destructive forces away from the flagship. This is impossible, Dr. Volkov gasped, checking her readings. The Allied ships, they've modified their shields to absorb the resonance. They're protecting us. Through failing communications, the voices of their allies reached the bridge. You've sacrificed enough for this galaxy. Let us repay our debt. The battle ended not with the destruction of the horizon, but with its survival, a testament to the very unity and friendship that had made their victory possible. In the years that followed, the galaxy entered a new age. The hegemony's fall led to the rise of the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of free species dedicated to peace and mutual protection. The horizon, scared but undefeated, became a symbol of this new era. Admiral Hawthorne stood once again at the observation deck, watching Earth's sunrise with Ambassador Zalora beside him. "Did you know?" he asked. "Did you know our allies would save us?" "I suspected they might try," she replied. But the true surprise was not their attempt. It was their success. In all our records, no species has ever achieved such perfect quantum synchronization. It should have been impossible. Impossible, Hawthorne smiled, is something humanity has never been very good at accepting. As new ships of the Concordat fleet patrolled the stars, carrying crews of multiple species working together, the legacy of their victory lived on. The galaxy had learned what humanity had known all along, that true strength lies not in the power to destroy, but in the courage to stand together, to protect, and to forge bonds that transcend the vast distances between stars.